What's going on, guys? Karl here, back with another episode, and you can see we have brand new Apple stuff in the studio. We finally have the refresh of the 2019 MacBook Air, and my 2018 model, which you see off beside me, was actually my favorite update of Apple's MacBooks last year. And also, strangely, with this refresh, we saw the death of the classic MacBook, and that's a total change up from Apple. I thought the MacBook Air was gonna die last year. They upgraded it with, of course, the Retina display. They've made it even better, and now they are updating it to the 2019 model. Crazy that a year has gone by. Let's do a quick unboxing setup and maybe compare the two briefly, and I'll let you know what I think. So the 13-inch, it now comes in at $1099, and that's the cheapest MacBook that you can currently get. It's also technically the only MacBook that you can now get in this gold color, as the MacBook Pros only come in silver and space gray. Naturally, I had to get it in this unique colorway. That off to the side, we've got the MacBook Air right on top. A very classic Apple unboxing, not too much has changed. Designed by Apple in California. Do we get the gold Apple stickers? Yes! Yes, we do, along with the user manuals, warranty info. That's the only reason why you're getting a gold MacBook, to be honest. Charging brick, and of course that charges via USB-C. So we'll get this plastic right off. Oh, and I always forget how good the gold MacBook stuff look. Let us get this guy powered on. And once we remove this, there should be a little sensor. Of course there is. You can see that this guy starts booting up right out of the box. So while we're setting this guy up, you can see one of the biggest changes. The display, of course it's a Retina display, now has True Tone. So depending on the type of light you're getting, say you're in the middle of the night, say it's super dark, the light will adjust, makes it a bit easier on the eyes. Let's get the check marks. 1, 2... MacBook Air, fully set up. Literally took 2 minutes. So other than True Tone, the main changes, of course, are the chipsets inside. We now have the 8th gen dual core processors. And this is something that I still think Apple needs to shift away from. Please, we at least need a quad core. We're in 2019, Apple, you can't be running a dual core setup. I think that's almost a bit preposterous. This guy comes in at $1099, and I think for most students, that's around the price point you're looking for, around the $1,000 mark. The only one recommendation I would make is upgrade the RAM. It comes stock with 8, choose 16 gigs. You can get away with the 256 gigs SSD. I know it's tiny, I know it's small, but you can get third-party options for way cheaper than what Apple is charging. If you do happen to have some extra cookies in that cookie jar, I would spend them on, of course, getting that hard drive to be a bit larger. I think 512 should be the bare minimum. And I actually edited this very video on this guy, and I will say that you can get by. I'm editing a 4K file right now. It can handle the 4K footage. It's just when you start to export files, the rendering times are just so long on either of the MacBook Airs. That's when you really start to need that dedicated graphics card. You hear the fans ramp up, the thing starts to throttle, and the machine is kind of put to its absolute max. Wouldn't recommend it on my end, but as I said, you can get by just fine. The main benefit, obviously, with the Air is the lightweightness and, of course, the design. It's, of course, Apple's lightest laptop, and like I said, my favorite one from last year was the 2018 model. I carry this guy literally every day. I do have an office job, so this is what I use whether I am doing PowerPoints. I have edited photos on this. I do have Photoshop. Performs great. I love the fact that it's such a small form factor. It doesn't weigh too much. You do have, of course, 2 USB ports on the side with the one 3.5mm headphone jack on the other. Those are your only ports. Keyboard and trackpad layout remains pretty much identical. We still don't have the light up touch bar, but honestly, I don't really use mine over on my MacBook Pro. We have the T2 chip, so you can still log in using Touch ID. Same great and large trackpad, which I think is industry standard. Still very small speakers, but very capable. For a device this small, it has some of the best sound output for a laptop. And overall, if you're looking for a laptop, especially you students out there, going back to school, you don't need Final Cut Pro. You do not need to edit red footage. Word processing, writing those essays at 3, 4 a.m., browsing the net, watching Netflix, all that jazz. This machine is more than enough, even with a dual core. Still would love to see a quad core one day, but that of course are the limitations that we got to deal with this year round. Let me know your thoughts though down below in the comments on the brand new 2019 MacBook Air. Hope you guys enjoyed my quick little review, and let me know what else you want to see covered down below in the comments. We'll catch the rest of you in one of my next episodes, or of course, vlogs. Peace.